Acha, for those people that aren't very aware about nihilism, would any of you like to explain in very layman terms, what is nihilism and what is a nihilistic approach towards life?
Basically, for me, it might be nihilism is like accepting skepticism at every point. When you start to doubt anything in life, I mean, a philosopher tha, which is named, I think, Pyro from Egypt, and he used to say that nothing should be said with conviction. It should be always said with a maybe, but I mean, it doesn't make a point. But for us, it was skepticism is basically nihilism. When you doubt everything, why is like the grass is green? We have an answer for it. We have a scientific answer for it. But there comes a point where you have to. There's a blank state. You don't know anything from beyond that state. So so when you look at life, when you see life with all its miseries, as like Schopenhauer said, like life is a swinging pendulum between miseries and like the positivity itself. So you just there's happiness, there's sadness. That's how life goes on.
Oh, it's beautiful. Rajiv, what is your take on nihilism? Chalo.
As you said, like, you gave a beautiful answer, the pendulum swinging between happiness and sadness.
Yeah.
And the nothingness. Actually, when you go into the why again and again and again and again, it just gets to the point where it's like, it doesn't make any sense and it's absurd.
Actually, absurd is a very, very good point. It reminds me of Camus and like, God, that guy influenced us.
For me, nihilism is more like I think optimistic nihilism is the word. So that is something I really resonate with. It's basically nothing matters, but then the fact that nothing matters makes you want to do more things because nothing matters, and that is something which is really stuck by me.
What are your thoughts on nihilism, Mario?
So I think I do completely understand both of your points towards nihilism and how the pendulum example that you gave was very beautiful. It actually, now that I think about it, because a lot of things that happen in life, you can look at it from a perspective that it's a good thing that happened to you, or maybe it's a bad thing that happened to you. You're not really sure about it. You can look at it from any perspective, right? Perspectives is it's very subjective. And I believe that having that perspective is important. That in the end, when you look at it from the greater point of view, nothing matters. It's a good perspective for sure. But as he said, optimistic nihilism, that sticks with me more, because I believe that if nothing matters, everything matters in a way, right? The very fact that we're present here and the fact that we're alive and we're talking about such things, the fact that we have the ability to talk about nihilism and question the fact that nothing makes sense in itself is a big deal. So my personal approach would be more optimistic nihilism, but I get nihilism. I get the perspective behind it. It makes a lot of sense. But so you have this nihilistic approach. Where did this start? Do you guys remember from at what instance did you start questioning everything? Kab hua ye? Like, you just looked at this and be like, yaar, ye aisa kyun hai? Aisa kyun nahi hai? When do you start questioning things?
I think, Rajir, we should go back to that one video of Pursuit of Wonder, in which, in the end of everything, you know that video? And uske andar, it's like there's this character who is like, I think it's not that, it's limits of wisdom or something. A character is alive for almost all his life, he's immortal, and then he reads every kind of book, he goes in every kind of century, he sees everything, but in the end, he comes to a point that he comes to the conclusion that I think he should just stop living, and death is a big acceptance for him, something like that. I think between there and the time when we were, the Letterbox app, when we were the only Letterbox app, we used to see films, movie and all those apps. Shit. I think it's like a mix of Swedish cinema, old cinema, because if you see old cinema, even in Indian cinema, if you see the cinema of Raj Kapoor or anyone's cinema, they have their purpose in their films. They have a certain sense of purpose in their film, which really makes you think as a human. So I think that did the same for me with French cinema and Swedish cinema, and with that Pursuit of Wonder and some books.
What is your? How did you start critical thinking?
I think it was in the lockdown, before lockdown or somewhere along the line.
I mean, we got into it before lockdown, but we really dwelled into it after lockdown, because we had that time.
We used to, go out there and we used to sit building and we used to look at the stars and just
Yeah, that was a favorite pastime, to be honest.
That sounds nice, huh?
And see all the constellations. One thing I remember, there was this one conversation that we had. It was about, of course, the space and stars and obviously like the pale blue dot and stuff.
Yeah.
I guess it was after I'd watched this one film, A Ghost Story. And there's a long monologue which I showed it to him.
Okay.
And I guess it was sort of a catalyst in our journey towards nihilism and philosophy. The monologue, say, it goes like it's at a dinner party, and the movie has minimal dialogues, but just this one monologue of 6 minutes. It's about legacy.
Oh.
So how, suppose humanity goes on for 40 million years or something, or suppose 40,000 more years. Beethoven's music.
So,
Beethoven didn't have, I guess it was, I'm not sure if it was Mozart or Beethoven. They did not have any kids or anyone, but they had a nephew. And the nephew, and so basically the speaker in the monologue, makes the point that everyone wants to be remembered. Whether it's through your piece of art or through your kids or through your friends, family, everyone in the end, that's sort of like some selfishness as well. But yeah, so that was the point, and he takes the example, suppose 40,000 years into the future, everyone is dead and humanity somehow makes it onto a spaceship
Yeah.
across some other planet or something. One of the things that will keep them going was the piece of art by Beethoven.
oof.
And he sings that note, and it was so beautiful and got me thinking, at least me.
Yeah. And also the fact that I read quite recently that an interviewer asked Albert Einstein that, sir, what will you miss after you die? And then he goes like, oh, I just can't listen to Beethoven anymore. This makes much more sense when it comes to that dialogue.